Hi, I'm Sandy with Lightning Tools, and I'm here again with Brett. How are you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you, Sandy. Yeah, everything
Great.
good with you?
Yes, yes, very good. Hot, hot. Of course,
Fantastic.
everybody's hot in the whole world, apparently. I say July was the hottest month on the planet ever.
Except for the UK, we managed to escape all of it big
Oh,
time. I think yes, it's currently 19 degrees C here, and I don't think it's really got much above that the whole of July.
mm, uh,
We've had overcast, we've had rain, we've had wind.
aw.
Yeah,
Well, we can maybe switch a little bit of that. We can trade,
yeah.
if
Just
only.
send a little bit over. That'd be great.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, weather report over. So now, what would we like to talk about?
Yeah, so well, we've I guess continuing with the theme of weather, we've got the lightning conductor.
Well, sort of, yes.
So yeah, the lightning conductor is our content aggregation web part, and I guess a very quick history lesson is that product was created back in 2007, which was solving the problem back then of being able to aggregate across different site collections when you're aggregating SharePoint lists and libraries. So yeah, that's where the product started off. It's now super product and
Mhm.
allows you to still do that. You can still roll up SharePoint lists and libraries. You can do that across, of course, site collections, but also hub sites and associated sites and so on as well. So very powerful from that regard. But also, people are creating content in other places now, not just
Mm.
SharePoint. So we have all of the different apps that come with Microsoft 365, things like Planner, Teams, OneDrive, etc. All of these things are accessible via the Microsoft Graph.
Mhm.
So that is actually one of the data sources that you can aggregate from. You can pull in your planner plans or OneDrive items and so on, and you don't have to write graph queries for that. A lot of that is all plugged in, so you just select what type of entity you want to look at, and choose a or build a view or
Mhm.
choose one of the built-in views which we've created as well. So there's that capability. There's also search as well, so you can go against the search indexing as opposed to the real-time object model when you're rolling up lists and libraries. That gives you the performance benefit for
Mhm.
any potentially large lists and so on. And there's also Microsoft 365 groups, which is another way of querying that content. So anything that you can create inside a Microsoft 365 group, you can also report against. So again, that could be OneDrive, Planner, etc. It's just a different way of choosing where that content is going to come from. And then finally, a new roll-up provider that we created was a Microsoft external connector. So you can connect to external data, not just with inside of Microsoft 365, but things like Salesforce, Jira, and yeah, anything else that you want to create a
Amazing.
connector to. So yeah, these are all the things that you can connect to, and you've got multiple different ways of building views as well. So there's a simple grid view where you can pick and choose the columns that you want to see and apply things like conditional formatting and grouping, to built-in JSON templates, so calendar views and Gantt charts and things like that. And we've also got adaptive cards as well, so you can use the Microsoft Adaptive Card Designer to build cards against each of the different items that you're aggregating to.
Mm.
So in a nutshell, that's what the product is. And yeah, I'll let you do some talking. So if you want to maybe highlight the three main features that
Yep.
we released in July.
Yep. Sure. Speaking along that same lines of the different data sources, we have a new feature that's called merged views, and that lets you. So that came about because we have customers who, well, really anybody, so you can see data from, for example, SharePoint task lists, and you can see data from to-do task lists and planner task lists. And in the past, we've been telling people, so if you have people creating tasks in all of those different places, then you can create different views in the Lightning Conductor, one for each of those data sources, because the Lightning Conductor has to get those from different places. You've got some in SharePoint and some that are accessible through Microsoft Graph through queries. So for example, you can't query planner tasks and and to do tasks at the same time. But now you can merge those. So basically you create those separate views, which you still have to do, but then you can create a merged view that brings those all together into one grid view or calendar view, whichever type of thing it
Hmm.
is. And lets you see them all at once, and it doesn't matter where they're coming from, and you could display where they're coming from. So that could be useful too, so that people can see, yeah, here's a task and that one came from Planner, and here's a task and that one came from SharePoint. But yeah, so I think that's a really super new feature that I thought surely could not be technically feasible, but here it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is fantastic. I mean, if you think about what we were able to do, that was also great. Just the fact that you could take one web part instance or one tab inside of Teams, and you could build different views. So
Mhm.
already you were able to maybe have your one view of tasks coming from lists and another view of planner tasks, etc., or maybe Microsoft To Do as well. Likewise with your documents. But yeah, there
Mhm.
is also the case where you may actually want to see that as one view, as opposed to having to even change the views
Right.
within inside that web part. So yeah, I think that is yeah, a fantastic feature. I mean, there's things like you're even ignoring the external connectors where it's useful, just being able to bring in sort of events that may be occurring in
Mhm.
your teams, also events coming from SharePoint lists
Mhm. Mhm.
within certain sites, and maybe even from your own Outlook.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can then use the calendar view and display all that content together. So it's just,
Yep.
yeah, very, very great source.
Yep. Very cool.
Mhm.
Another thing that we added in our July release is inline editing. That's been a common request for a long time, and we used to have that in, well, I guess we still do, but in the on-prem data viewer farm solution web part. Um, and now you can do it in the Lightning Conductor. So if you're aggregating items from SharePoint lists or libraries, then you can enable inline editing, and that allows you to edit the item right within the Lightning Conductor. So no matter where the data actually lives, it's being aggregated from multiple locations in SharePoint into your Lightning Conductor view. And that had kind of been the tricky bit before, that people would ask for that, and we would tell them, well, you can't, because the data could be residing anywhere really. But now you can. You just
Yeah,
click a button to put that row into edit mode and edit the contents of any of the columns, and then save it, and it saves back to wherever it actually lives.
yeah, yeah, really, really nice feature. And yeah, Microsoft also they released sort of inline editing as well with
Mm,
inside of modern lists. So I think, yeah, people will want to have that same feature when they're aggregating content. So it
right.
made sense to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. And then last but not least, we added actions. So this lets you create your own action button that you can put in the top command bar of a Lightning Conductor. So in the past, in the Lightning Conductor, there's a command bar that has things like help and refresh and export data and that sort of thing, which all of which you can turn on or off depending on what you want to display to your users. But now you can also add a button there that can do any sort of action on one or more selected items within the Lightning Conductor. And we have some built-in ones, which is really useful, so that you don't even have to know anything about how that works. You can just
Yep.
choose one of the built-in ones. Like, for example, there's check-in and check-out. Can you remind me what some of the
Yeah,
other
there's
built-in ones are? I know you did the
you're right.
webinar on it, so.
Yeah, check in and check out. There's also the publish,
All right.
which you can use on yeah, things like page libraries
Mm,
and so on, which is a great feature. Um, and also an export items, and that can be used on any
right.
view that you've created. So yeah, even if it's an external connector, you could be connected to, again, Jira, and then you could export those items into Excel via the
Mm,
Lightning Conductor. So
mm.
yeah,
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 that's a
cool.
really good one actually, because you've always been able to export the whatever the Lightning Conductor is showing into into an Excel or CSV, but now you can choose particular items to export, so you don't have to export the whole everything that's in the view, and that's been requested in the past. But you can also then create your very own action items as well. So whatever you might imagine that you
Mm.
need for your business process will have technical instructions on how to go about doing that. There's some built into the web part, but we'll have some additional instructions on that. But it does take writing some JavaScript in that case, but
Yeah.
still nothing beyond your average developer and possibly a really savvy business user.
Yeah, and it's also something we can provide services around as
Right,
well. So if
right.
there is a, specific action that you
Mm,
want to request, if it's specific to your organization, then absolutely that could be something that we could do as a service. But also, feel free to post in any ideas as well of
right.
the
Yeah.
different type of actions that you might want to
Right.
see. I
Right.
think quite a common one that's already started coming up is start a flow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that may be something that we could look into and
Hmm.
at least create an example of. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, very good. Sounds
Yeah. So
fantastic.
it was an action-packed release of the
Very
Lightning
good.
Conductor. uh, and yeah, we're very pleased with that, and would love to hear feedback from anybody on if you've used the new features or have suggestions.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. And I think next month we've got the data viewer as well.
Right.
So
Hmm.
yeah, those two products work extremely well together.
Hmm.
You can actually build charts around the aggregated content. We've got some new charts coming in to that release, so
Hmm.
keep an eye on that as well. If you're aggregating content and you want to build a dashboard on that aggregated content, then that's something that you could do with the data viewer. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
worth checking out next month.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And just on the dashboard idea, I just wanted to mention I had a question come in the other day on can I have too many lightning conductors connected to each other? I said, well, you can never have too many lightning conductors, but the question was a good one. A fair, if you have one that's sort of a parent or a primary lightning conductor and you're using that to filter a bunch of other lightning conductors, does it matter how many? Which it doesn't really, as far as I've ever tried. I guess it might depend on the volume of your data or how many you actually put, but um, in order to create just a general dashboard on your page, yeah, you can connect as many other lightning conductors or data viewer charts or whatever you want to as many connections as you want, really. I don't
Yeah,
think you're
yeah,
limited.
no, absolutely. So
Mm.
yeah, it's very, very
Yeah,
cool.
so we have a lot of customers who are doing that sort of thing, creating a dashboard, or they might use our free Lightning Filters web part. Actually, that had an upgrade in July as well, now that I
Hmm.
think about that.
Yeah,
And that is that we added a new SharePoint list filter to that. So you can, I don't think we had mentioned that yet, that you can point a Lightning Filters web part to a SharePoint list and choose a column, and then that becomes your drop down in your Lightning filter, and then you can use that to filter Lightning conductors and data viewers.
very cool.
Mm,
Sounds very good.
I think so. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess that probably wraps it up
Yeah,
for this release, and then
yes,
we'll talk more about the data viewer and so on next time. So
yeah,
yeah,
sounds good.
all right. Well,
All
enjoy your
right.
warm weather, and,
Thank you. Well, staying inside is how we enjoy that here.
and we stay inside here for different reasons. So. All right,
All right. It was good talking to
take
you.
care.
All
You
right.
too.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.